Hey, this is the Pizza here, and we are back to more of the Guild Wars 2 personal story. Last time, we took the role of Legionnaire, and now have to assemble our own warband, and now decide to try to pick up Fion the Wraith here.
Fion the Wraith. Ritlock Brimstone sent me.
Ah, my old friend Ritlock. He must want to ask one last thing from me before I die.
Not quite. He and I both want you to join my warband, and leave dying till much, much later. Come with me, and start a new life.
New beginnings are for the young. I'm old, and I only have one thing left to do. Slash Warmaster Kalar's throat.
Unless you can put down a ghost for good, Warmaster Kalar will just come back again.
My comrades howl for justice from their shallow graves. I'm not leaving here without evening the score.
Then we'll purify this crypt in their honor. If you survive, you join us. If not,
Then I'll come back as a ghost myself, and keep killing these Ascalonian devils forever and ever.
So now we have to help Fion seek some vengeance on this ghost, which of course means fighting through many other ghosts. And this is actually the same location as the ghostly demolition video that I posted. This personal story does take place in the same location in the world, just an instanced version of it, so there's no one else like running around. And once again, lots of lag to be expected in the beta though, and my health is suddenly gone. One thing that is sort of, I don't know, something that can be manipulated in the combat is the whole down state. And here I pick up a rifle. I believe I got one earlier. The down state. So let's say right now, like I am, I'm on whatever 20 or 30 health. Can't really read it in this window. But let's say I'm like this and I'm just fighting 1v1, and I can take out the person from range. I got them immobilized, they're melee or whatever, and I know I can kill them. And all of a sudden I see someone else running up beside me, and I'm gonna be able to kill the person before me before the other person can kill me. So, you know, I've got an opportunity to kill this person and then start off fighting the next person with 20 health and go down instantly, and they're still at full health. Or I could let the other person kill me, then rally by just throwing 1 or 2 stones at them and start fighting the other enemy with a bank of like 150 health. So that's something that can be manipulated in the combat. I actually found myself consciously deciding not to kill someone because I knew I was about to go down and would need to rally. And as soon as I rallied, I just used some sort of AoE spell like my flurry on my swords to try to take out the remaining enemies as quickly as possible. I'm not really sure how you'd fix that with the current system in the game, or if they even want to fix it, or if it's something that the players should have control of, whether or not they want to go down right now and come back with more life than they'd have before. I just found that was something that could be easily manipulated in the combat, or when the situation came to be. So here I'm going, just trying to take out some ghosts, and the warriors, or the fighters, have a ghostly block ability where they block all of your attacks, and you get burned when they block. So here I've got dual swords, and one of my swords I think is that a Festering Steam Blade? I believe it is. I think I used that for a while. So like here I went down, but it doesn't matter, because there's no one else I'm going to fight, and I can just throw some rocks at him. Another thing to mention is every time you go down, the next time you go down, you're going to go down with less starting health. So the first time you'll go down with like 3/4 health, the next time you'll go down with half health, next time you'll go down with 1/4 health, and then after that, you just die. You don't even get a chance, you just die. And that's represented by the skull next to the endurance meter, which is what you use to dodge. You use endurance. And also your armor is represented by the little shield next to that as well. So sort of all your death penalty-ish stats are kept right there by your endurance meter. And when the skull is red, I believe that means you're just going to die as soon as you go down. So we got 40 health left, and I just go down. And here's when I just... See, I started at about half health there rather than 3/4 like earlier. So I'm trying to just throw some stones. Gotta get... No, it's not gonna happen. Luckily though, unlike in Guild Wars 1, where when your entire party got defeated in a mission, you just have to restart the mission completely. Here you just go back to a checkpoint and run back to where you were. All the enemies that you killed are still dead, and all of the allies that are still alive are still fighting. So they can kill the enemies that perhaps you weren't able to. And I'm actually recording this the day after my previous sentence. And I got a comment on one of my other videos saying that the reason for the lag was actually because the current version of the game barely uses the GPU, so it barely uses your graphics card, and it's fairly heavy on the CPU, but it only uses 1 core. And I have a 6-core processor, so that would explain why I was getting all that lag. It was just stressing that 1 core of my CPU. I didn't bother to actually ever tab out of the game to check to see how my computer was performing. I just assumed it was server lag because it's the beta weekend and everyone was trying to log on. But apparently it's because in this build there's only 1 core, which also explains the slight difference in performance between low and high settings, which eventually on my later videos you see I switch to the low settings. And that's because for the most part it was dropping below 20 FPS on high whenever you got into a relatively large battle. So I ended up just putting it on low for the most part. For my tour of Lion's Arch, which I actually did a 100% tour, so all of the waypoints and points of interest I discovered in one sitting, which took not too long, maybe 30 minutes. It's a pretty big city. And also I got lost a few times and I was just staring at some things. But I actually turned the graphics back up to high for that, and even though it was only running at usually around 10 to 15 FPS, I figured I should at least show off Lion's Arch in high quality, just so you can get the full effect of the city. This is the first time they're showing off Lion's Arch, and I'll talk more about Lion's Arch when we actually get to the video about that. So right now we're just destroying some statues, and this mission actually goes on for quite a while, and there's not really much more to say about it because I wanna get my overall impressions of the beta weekend in as a whole. I want to get that out of the way in the Lion's Arch video, since there's not really much action to watch. I'm just wandering around, discovering the city, showing off things that you might be interested in if you like the world. If you played the first Guild Wars, there'll be some areas that you might notice. Lion's Arch is very, very different, so I want to get my my overall thoughts out in that video. Not really much else I can talk about in this video for the remainder of it. And I don't really just want to babble on for another, I don't know how long this is. Another 6 or 7 minutes. So I think that's gonna be it for the commentary. And if you want, you can watch the rest of the video and just enjoy the gameplay and the story. If you just skip to the story segments, I don't blame you. Sometimes it's not too interesting to watch someone else play when you don't really know what they're doing. But the story does develop a little bit in this mission, and if you want to understand what's going on in the next mission, it'd probably be beneficial for you to watch the cutscenes. So I guess that'll be it for me, and I'll see you next time.
Pandora has night.
Fast?
Kalon's close. I can smell it.
You mongrel beasts will never take it!
Killing's like weapons practice, but with a surprise inside.
Maybe now my brothers and sisters can find rest in the mists.
You've silenced Kalar. They'll find satisfaction in that.
Maybe this old cuss has a few fights left in him. You still have room in your ranks?
I do. Welcome to the Warband.